Brought to you by Penguin.
The Nightingale Daughters by Donna Douglas, read by Penelope Freeman. Chapter 1. September 1956. I know you. Matron Helen Mackay stared at the girl sitting across the desk from her. It was 3 o'clock, and she was the last of the prospective students to be interviewed that day. Helen had seen at least 20 girls since that morning, all those bright, eager faces with neat hair and clipped accents, brandishing their school certificates and gushing about how honoured they would be to train as nurses at the famous Florence Nightingale Hospital in Bethnal Green. She had already crossed through most of the names on her list, girls she could tell would be too fragile to make it through the rigorous training, overconfident girls who probably wouldn't take instruction, girls who fancied themselves mopping fevered brows and flirting with young doctors. But this girl, the last on her list, was different. She didn't simper about how she had always loved caring for babies or her pets, but there was a genuine warmth in her intense blue eyes. She seemed awkward as she sat across the desk from Helen, her long limbs folded into the chair as if she did not quite know what to do with them. She'd made an attempt to clip back her unruly dark curls, but Helen could never imagine them sitting neatly beneath a starched nurse's cap. But she emanated practical good sense, and Helen could imagine her keeping a calm head on the ward. I know you. There was something tantalizingly familiar about her. Helen searched for the memory, but it remained elusive, just out of her reach. She turned her attention back to her notes. The girl had an excellent report from her school, along with a handful of O-level certificates. I see from your application you've been working for the past 2 years in an office, she said. That's right, miss. I mean matron, the girl corrected herself. Her accent was as East End as a plate of jellied eels. I worked in the accounts department at the town hall. I don't see a reference. The girl's face clouded over. It wouldn't be worth reading, I dare say, she muttered. And why is that? I got the sack. I see. Helen blinked at her forthrightness. The girl stared back at her, bold and defiant. Helen picked up her pen and wrote a question mark beside the girl's name. May I ask why? It was personal. Nothing to do with my work, she added quickly. I was a hard worker and I was good at my job. Then why were you dismissed? The girl's eyes flickered for a moment, then her mouth set in a grim line, and she reluctantly said, I had a disagreement with someone. Who? My supervisor. What about? I told you it was personal. Helen blinked, taken aback at her tone. It certainly wasn't what she would usually expect from a prospective student. I see, she said. I feel I have to point out, this hospital runs on a strict hierarchy. That means junior nurses taking orders from their superiors. I don't mind taking orders. And yet you had a disagreement with your supervisor. Her chin jutted obstinately. I told you that was personal. Perhaps you'd like to tell me what it was about? The girl stared back at her, stubbornly silent. I'm afraid I can't consider taking you on unless you tell me what happened. Defeat and disappointment flickered in the girl's eyes. In that case, I'm sorry I've wasted your time. She stood up and started to put on her coat. Helen stared at her in astonishment. She had never known a prospective student walk out of an interview before. She usually had trouble getting them out of her office. She looked at the girl's stubborn face, and suddenly it struck her. The spark of recognition kindled and caught into flame. How could she not have noticed it before?
Sample complete. Ready to continue?